Welcome back to the Westmoreland Sports Network for our Recruiting Thursday feature, brought to you by Sendell Volkswagen in Greensburg. We would love to meet you. Jack Ridenour here with you, and today we are joined by Norwin boys soccer player and recent Pitt men's soccer commit, Owen Christopher. Owen, first off, congratulations on the commitment. How does
Thank
this
you.
feel making this decision?
Feels great. It's a great relief. My whole life, it has been a goal to continue to play soccer past high school, especially at the Division I level. And now that it's finally happened, finally come true, it's a big relief, like I said, and I'm just very excited to get started with it.
Well, what was it about Pitt that drew you to the school, to the program, and wanting to continue your soccer career there?
Yeah, like I had described it as the perfect scenario. It really was. Academically, I'm enrolled in the doctorate of physical therapy program. It's nationally ranked very high. So academically, no brainer for me. Athletics, obviously, men's soccer in recent years, they have skyrocketed into a top tier program. They're competing for a college cup consistently, playing in the ACC, one of the top conferences in college soccer, college sports in general. And then location, distance to home, very close to home. I'll be able to see my family, which was huge to me.
Well, what was this recruiting process like for you as a whole, just from start to finish? And, what were some maybe interesting things that you learned about recruiting along the way?
Yeah, very stressful. I think if you ask any athlete who wants to play in college, they're going to say the same thing. But, I just learned that I really have to trust in my abilities and ultimately trust in God's plan for me, that He has bigger and better things planned for me. Throughout the process, there were schools that I was really interested in that ultimately didn't work out for me. And it was extremely frustrating. At times it was hard to stay motivated, but I just had to find that motivation within me to keep going and ultimately reach this goal of mine.
Well, I know that another big goal that was definitely checked off of your list and probably your fellow teammates' lists as well, winning a WPIAL championship. But we want to start from the very beginning. At what point, did you and your team kind of get together during preseason, beginning of the year maybe, and say, hey, you know what? We can make a big run here.
Yeah, absolutely. Since our senior class, we were freshmen. We had really good seniors to look up to. And, my freshman year, we made it to the WPIAL semifinals, ultimately losing to Seneca at their place. And then this past summer, it was actually myself and the two other captains, Rick Sapone and Anthony Scalise. We were just hanging out one night, and we just said, look, we can do this. We're going to do this. As the season progressed, obviously we hit some roadblocks, but I think that just made us stronger as a team. I think what made this team special was how close we were off the field, not just on the field. And ultimately that kind of connection, that closeness propelled us through playoffs and ultimately winning that WPIAL championship.
Well, throughout the season, I always kind of feel like there's always maybe that one defining moment that maybe triggers, or maybe the switch is flipped for the team. So when was that moment for your group during the regular season where things kind of came together and you maybe feel like that's where the run really got ignited?
Sure. I think, honestly, in the preseason tournament, we played Seneca at their place, similar to my freshman year in playoffs. And we lost. I think it was actually the same exact score. And after that, obviously it's not a fun bus ride home, but we knew we had many games left to play, and we had a long season to turn that result around. And I think really the switch that flipped was when the seedings came out. We got the 8th seed, and we saw that we were matched up against Seneca again, and we knew this was our chance to get revenge. We look at that game as a huge rivalry for us. We don't think necessarily that they feel the same, and we feel disrespected every time we play them. So we made that game, just a game to make a point, make a statement. And I think that's what we did. And throughout the rest of playoffs, we knew we were the underdogs, and we would tell ourselves we love being the underdogs because it means we have nothing to lose. And that mentality really, really, really propelled us to constantly win with our back against the wall.
Well, you guys obviously are the last one standing on the mountaintop in the WPIAL. Talk a little bit about that moment, just what that felt like when that final penalty kick goes through and there's celebration, there's excitement, obviously a lot of fans making the big drive downtown. So just talk to me a little bit about what that whole sequence was like after you guys had captured the championship.
Yeah, it was a great feeling, obviously. The community was just awesome throughout the entire playoff run, made the whole experience much more special to us. It was a tough game at Highmark. We were down for a majority of the game, few moments that really really just switched the momentum for us. Daniel got a big goal off a corner, and then we had already beaten Seneca on penalties prior, so we knew we could definitely beat NA on penalties this time. And then afterwards, we our Coach Schuckert, he was on a red, so he wasn't able to be there. So, just that feeling that he wasn't there watching us celebrating with us, but that he would be there at the school afterward. It was hard for us, but we were ready to celebrate with him afterward, and that made everything much more special for us. He wanted to win that more than anything, so I think that was part of our motivation, and that's what made winning that game feel all that much better.
Yeah, everything kind of coming all together in a perfect unison, if you will, for the Norwin Knights this year. So really great that you got to be a part of that. But now you kind of starting to close one chapter and starting a new one. What are your plans heading into the summer as you get ready for obviously the soccer season, which let's face it is right around the corner?
Right. Yeah. So I move in towards the end of June, actually. So over the next month or so, really just for me, it's important to be more disciplined with my routine. That's diet, hydration, fitness, just taking care of my body in general. I might not be the most technical, most skilled kid on that Pitt roster, but one thing that I know I can do is I can outwork all those guys, and I can come in more fit than them, ready to work and ready to compete for a spot. So that's what I'm going to do.
What do you think is going to be the biggest adjustment for you? Not necessarily athletic wise, but just balancing school and athletics, like you mentioned, with a very heavy course load. So, I mean, how have you kind of started to maybe map out, what you're going to do to try and maneuver through that?
Yeah, absolutely. I've started actually keeping an agenda, writing down my goals, writing down what I want to accomplish each day, each week. I think just like I said, getting into a routine, that's very important. And I think that's going to be a big adjustment because high school, obviously, being an athlete in high school, there's a lot of work, but college is a different level, especially at the Division I level. So being disciplined, like I said earlier, that's going to be a huge adjustment for me. I know I'm already pretty disciplined, but just taking it to the next level, like I'm going to have to with the academics and athletics, obviously.
Well, it definitely sounds like you've got a perfect mindset for being able to tackle that both in the classroom and also on the soccer field as well. But Owen, before we get you out of here, want to hear from you just the legacy that you think that you'll leave behind. Obviously, a lot of success individually, and then obviously a ton of success as a team as well. So what do you think it's going to be that when your time is wrapped up at Norwin and you're moved on, maybe 5, 10, 15 years down the road, what kind of legacy do you hope that you leave behind at Norwin?
Yeah, I think I just want people to remember me for my character. Just when they hear my name or they look to me, I want them to remember me as a hard worker, as a leader, someone who wants to make the people around them better, whether that's on the field or in the classroom.
Well, Owen, really appreciate you stopping by. Again, congratulations on the commitment and good luck next year at Pitt.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
That's Pitt soccer commit Owen Christopher. As always, thanks for joining us for another Recruiting Thursday feature brought to you by Sendell Volkswagen in Greensburg. We would love to meet you. Make sure you check out our other Recruiting Thursday features that are available on our YouTube channel. And as always, this is Jack Ridenour signing off, never saying goodbye, just a see you later, right here and only on the Westmoreland Sports Network.